Beyond budgeting, the core philosophy. There's a reason most people struggle with money despite budgets, apps, spreadsheets, and endless financial tips. Because budgeting alone doesn't change behavior. You can track every cent and still feel stressed. You can cut back on coffee and still feel broke. And you can save diligently for years and still wonder why you're not free. That's because money isn't just about numbers, it's about mindset. Welcome to the art of financial minimalism, a philosophy designed to simplify your financial life, amplify your results, and help you achieve true wealth. The kind that gives you freedom, purpose, and peace of mind. This is not another budgeting manual. It's a mindset revolution. One that asks deeper questions about how you earn, spend, save, and live. Because when you focus on less but better with your money, you gain more of what matters: time, options, and control. Why traditional budgeting fails. Traditional budgeting is often built on restriction. It's about cutting back, denying yourself, and trying to squeeze enjoyment into whatever is left over. The problem is, this approach treats money like a punishment rather than a tool. It tells you that the path to financial success is suffering now so you might enjoy life later. But restriction without intention never lasts. People abandon budgets because they feel unnatural. They focus on limiting spending instead of questioning why they're spending in the first place. They obsess over the small details. Should I cancel Netflix? While ignoring the bigger picture. What kind of life do I want my money to build? The result? A cycle of short-term changes and long-term frustration. The numbers might look neat on paper, but the underlying habits and the stress remain the same. Introducing financial minimalism, a mindset shift. Financial minimalism turns the old budgeting model upside down. Instead of starting with what should I cut, it starts with what truly matters. It's not about deprivation. It's about deliberate alignment. It's the practice of stripping away the financial clutter that doesn't add real value to your life so you can focus your resources, money, time, energy, on the things that do. Think of it this way. Minimalism in your home isn't about living in an empty room. It's about clearing out the junk so what remains is meaningful, useful, and beautiful. Financial minimalism works the same way. When you declutter your finances, what's left is purpose, clarity, and power. Here's what that looks like in action. Spending less, not because you should, but because you no longer need things that don't matter. Investing more, not because someone told you to, but because you understand how it serves your long-term vision. Designing your financial systems to run smoothly in the background, freeing your mental space for what truly matters. The goal is not just a bigger bank account. The goal is a better life, one where money supports you instead of controlling you. The enough principle, at the heart of financial minimalism, is a question most people never ask. How much is enough? The world constantly tells you that more is better. More money, more status, more stuff. But the pursuit of more is a trap with no finish line. It keeps you working harder, spending faster, and comparing endlessly, all while feeling emptier inside. Minimalism rejects that narrative. It teaches you to define enough for yourself, the amount of income, possessions, and wealth that genuinely support your goals and value. Anything beyond that isn't success, it's noise. And once you know you're enough, every financial decision becomes simpler. You stop chasing other people's definitions of success and start building a version of wealth that actually fulfills you. The compelling vision. What truly matters. The first step in financial minimalism isn't cutting costs. It's clarifying your why. Before you can align your money with your values, you need to know what those values are. Ask yourself, what does a rich life look like to me? What experiences do I want my money to make possible? What kind of freedom am I trying to create? Time freedom, location freedom, emotional freedom. Maybe you want to work fewer hours so you can raise your kids. Maybe you want to travel more, give generously, or build a business that matters. Whatever it is, write it down, because once you define your vision, money stops being random. It becomes a tool with a clear mission, and every dollar you spend, save, or invest either moves you closer to that mission or pulls you away from it. Minimalism is clarity, not sacrifice. Most people assume that simplifying means settling for less, but the opposite is true. Simplicity is a path to more. More peace, more progress, more purpose. By removing financial clutter, you give yourself the bandwidth to focus on decisions that actually change your life. It's not about being cheap, it's about being clear. It's not about cutting joy, it's about cutting waste. And when you apply that clarity to your money, you begin to notice something remarkable. You feel wealthier even before your net worth grows, because wealth isn't measured by how much you own. It's measured by how much control you have over your choice. A new approach to money. The art of financial minimalism isn't about spreadsheets, restrictions, or guilt. It's about designing a money system that's elegant, intentional, and aligned with your deepest values. It's about redefining success, not as accumulation, but as alignment. And once you make that mental shift, everything changes. Decisions become easier. Stress fades. Progress accelerates. You stop feeling like you're managing money and start feeling like you're mastering it. The journey ahead is about creating that kind of mastery, not by doing more, but by doing less with greater purpose. Because in the world of money, as in life, simplicity isn't the absence of wealth, it's the foundation of redefining wealth. The shift from income to freedom. Most people spend their entire lives chasing money without ever questioning why. They believe wealth is about earning more, so they work harder, take on more responsibilities, and climb higher up the ladder. Yet somehow they never feel secure. Their income grows, but so do their expenses. Their paychecks increase, but their stress stays the same. The truth is, wealth has very little to do with how much you earn. Real wealth is about how much control you have over your time, how much peace you feel when bills arrive, and how confidently you can make choices without fear. Financial minimalism helps you shift your focus from chasing income to creating freedom. And that freedom doesn't come from adding more. It comes from needing less and aligning more. This mindset shift is the cornerstone of everything that follows, because until you redefine wealth, you'll always be stuck in the same cycle. More money, more stress, more noise. The hidden cost of more. We live in a culture that glorifies more. More income, more possessions, more opportunities. But what most people don't realize is that more always comes with hidden costs. More possessions mean more maintenance, more decisions, more clutter. More income often means more hours, more stress, more dependency on your job. More responsibilities mean less time to do what truly matters. Every financial decision carries both a price tag and an opportunity cost. When you buy a bigger house, you're not just paying a higher mortgage, you're committing to more cleaning, more repairs, and possibly more years at a job you don't love. When you take on a high-paying role that consumes your evenings and weekends, you're not just trading time for money, you're trading freedom for stress. Minimalism forces you to see those hidden costs clearly. It asks you to consider not just what something costs in dollars, but what it costs in life energy. And when you look through that lens, the value of simplicity becomes obvious. The freedom formula: earn, need, control. Here's a powerful truth. Wealth isn't just about how much you earn, it's about how little you need to be happy. This is the foundation of what I call the freedom formula. Freedom, come, lifestyle cost. If you earn $10,000 a month but need $9,500 to sustain your lifestyle, you have $500. If you earn $4,000 a month but need only $2,000, you have $2,000 of freedom, 4 times more control than the person earning more. This is why many high-income earners still feel broke, while others with modest incomes live stress-free. It's not about how much you make, it's about the gap between what you make and what you need. Financial minimalism widens that gap by lowering the need side of the equation. By eliminating unnecessary expenses and aligning your spending with your values, you create breathing room, and that breathing room is where wealth grows. The law of enough. Designing a lifestyle below your means. One of the most powerful moves you can make is to deliberately design a lifestyle that's below your means, not because you have to, but because you choose to. Most people do the opposite. As their income increases, Their lifestyle expands to match it. They upgrade their car, move into a bigger house, buy nicer clothes. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it's the reason why even six-figure earners often live paycheck to paycheck. Minimalists reverse that equation. Instead of inflating their lifestyle with every raise, they maintain simplicity and use the extra income to build wealth. They invest, save, and create systems that generate passive income. As a result, their financial freedom grows exponentially, while others remain stuck in the earn, spend, repeat cycle. Here's a practical way to apply this principle. Every time your income increases, allocate at least 50% of that raise to long-term wealth, investments, savings, debt reduction. Keep lifestyle upgrades intentional and tied directly to real improvements in quality of life, not social comparison or impulse. Periodically audit your expenses to see if they still align with your values. If not, eliminate them. This isn't about denial, it's about direction. Every dollar you don't spend on things that don't matter is a dollar you can put toward the life that does. Decluttering your expenses, the three-category system. One of the most effective tools in financial minimalism is the three-category system, a simple framework to help you identify what to cut, what to keep, and what to amplify. Essential expenses. These are the costs that support your life and well-being. Housing, food, healthcare, transportation. They're necessary but should still be optimized. Example, finding a home that's functional but not excessive. Cooking more meals at home. Value-aligned expenses. These are expenses that genuinely enhance your life and reflect your values. A gym membership that keeps you healthy. Courses that help you grow. Experiences with loved ones. These are worth keeping because they create happiness and meaning. Clutter expenses. These are the purchases that don't improve your life. They're often driven by impulse, boredom, ego, or comparison. These are your hidden drains. Subscriptions you forgot about, clothes you never wear, gadgets that sit unused. Eliminating them creates instant breathing room. By auditing your spending through this system, you'll discover that much of what drains your bank account adds little to your life. And once you cut the clutter, you'll find it easier to focus your money on what truly matters. The joy of needing less. There's an unexpected side effect of financial minimalism. As you simplify, you feel richer, even if your income doesn't change. That's because needing less is a form of wealth. When you no longer depend on constant consumption for happiness, you become free. When your lifestyle is simple enough that you could walk away from a job tomorrow, you become powerful. And when you realize that your quality of life is determined more by decisions than by dollars, you become unstoppable. The minimalist approach isn't about shrinking your life. It's about expanding your freedom. It's about shifting from a life built around more to a life built around meaning. And that's the ultimate paradox. By stripping away what doesn't matter, you make space for everything that does, designing a life you don't have to escape from. The purpose of financial minimalism isn't just to improve your bank account, it's to improve your life. It's about creating a reality where you don't need vacations to feel free, where you don't need luxury to feel successful, and where money is no longer a source of anxiety but a source of choice. When you live below your means, align spending with your values, and focus on freedom over income, you stop surviving and start designing. And the life you design is one you never want to escape from, because it's simple, intentional, and deeply fulfilling. Declutter your dollars, simplifying spending to unlock freedom. If you want to change your financial life, you don't need to start with complicated investment strategies or elaborate budgeting systems. The simplest and most powerful first step is this: spend less on things that don't matter. At first that may sound obvious, but in practice most people never truly do it. They confuse cutting back with cutting out. They try to budget by trimming a little here and there, but they never confront the deeper problem. Their lives are full of financial clutter. Financial clutter is every dollar spent without intention. It's the unused subscription you forgot to cancel. It's the $100 impulse purchase you don't even remember buying. It's the constant upgrades, the nice-to-haves, and the social comparisons that push you to spend more than you need. Minimalism flips this entire approach. It's not about guilt or restriction, it's about clarity. It's about clearing out the noise so that every dollar has a purpose. And once you declutter your finances, you'll be shocked at how much more money you actually have to build wealth. The hidden costs of financial junk. Let's start by understanding why this junk spending is so destructive. It's not just about the money you waste in the moment. It's about the opportunity cost of that money over time. A $20 monthly subscription you never use is not just $240 a year. It's thousands of dollars in potential investments over a decade. That $5 coffee you buy daily is not just $150 a month. It's a down payment on your financial freedom. The $500 you spend on impulsive purchases every few months could grow into tens of thousands in passive income over 20 years. When you look at your spending this way, small expenses stop being small. They represent lost time, lost opportunity, and lost freedom. Financial minimalism teaches you to see spending not as isolated events, but as choices that shape your future. Step 1. Audit everything you spend. The first step in simplifying your spending is radical awareness. You can't change what you don't see. Here's a practical, minimalist exercise. Group those expenses into categories: unused subscriptions, convenience purchases, social pressure buys, just because spending. What you'll find is eye-opening. Most people discover that 20–40% of their spending has zero meaningful impact on their lives. This is your financial junk, and the moment you identify it, you gain the power to reclaim that money for something better. Step 2. The essential versus optional framework. Once you've audited your spending, it's time to make decisions. And one of the most effective ways to do this is with the essential-optional framework, a simple filter that helps you prioritize what stays and what goes. Essential: anything necessary for survival, security, or core life satisfaction. Think housing, groceries, healthcare, and basic transportation. These are non-negotiable, though even here there's often room to optimize. Optional: high value, spending that isn't essential but directly improves your quality of life or aligns with your value. This might include a gym membership that keeps you healthy, travel that enriches your perspective, or education that fuels your growth. Optional: low value, expenses that don't significantly improve your life or that you could easily live without. These are the ones to question, cut, or replace. Minimalism is not about stripping away everything enjoyable. It's about removing the low-value noise, so the things that truly matter have more space, both in your life and in your budget. Step 3. Automate simplicity. Once you've cut the clutter, the next step is to automate your simplicity, because willpower alone is not enough to sustain good habits. Automation ensures that your finances stay minimalist without requiring constant discipline. Here's how to do it. Automate bills and savings. Set up automatic transfers to savings or investment accounts right after payday. This pays your future self first and removes the temptation to spend. Use subscription tracking tools. Apps like Truebill or Mint can automatically flag recurring charges so nothing slips through the cracks. Create spending guardrails. Use a separate debit card or digital wallet for discretionary spending. Once it's empty, you're done for the month. No decisions needed. Automation turns minimalism into a system instead of a struggle. It removes friction, reduces decision fatigue, and keeps you aligned with your priority. The mental freedom of simplified spending. One of the most underrated benefits of financial minimalism is mental clarity. When you stop tracking dozens of small expenses, juggling unnecessary bills, and stressing over where the money went, your mind frees up. You spend less time managing money and more time using it intentionally. In fact, many people who embrace minimalist spending report a deeper sense of peace, not because they suddenly have more money, but because their money finally feels under control. Every expense becomes a conscious choice rather than a chaotic reaction, and that shift from reaction to intention is where true financial freedom begins. Realigning your spending with your values. Here's the ultimate question to ask yourself about every expense. Does this spending reflect the life I want to build? If the answer is no, it's clutter. If the answer is yes, it's aligned. It's that simple. Minimalism isn't about never spending money. It's about spending only on what matters most. And the clearer you get about your values, the easier it becomes to say no to everything else. Maybe your highest value is freedom, so you prioritize saving and investing to buy back your time. Maybe it's growth, so you invest in learning and personal development. Maybe it's relationships, so you focus spending on meaningful experiences with people you love. Whatever your values are, let them guide your dollar. Because when your money and your mission move in the same direction, every financial decision becomes a step toward the life you're trying to build. The power of subtraction. Minimalism is powerful because it flips the traditional financial equation. Most people think wealth is built by adding more income, more strategies, more hacks. But often the fastest way to improve your finances is through subtraction, by removing what's unnecessary. When you stop wasting money on things that don't matter, you automatically create room for the things that do. And when every dollar you earn has a purpose, you start building wealth, not by working harder, but by living smart. Investing with intention. Building wealth without the noise. Once you've decluttered your spending and simplified the flow of your money, the next step is to make that money work for you. But here's where most people make a critical mistake. They treat investing like a game of chasing tips, trends, and quick wins. They jump from stock to stock, follow the latest financial influencer, or panic buy into whatever's hot this month. This behavior isn't investing, it's gambling with a sophisticated name. And just like gambling, it often leads to frustration, inconsistency, and lost potential. Financial minimalism takes a radically different approach. Instead of trying to do everything, you focus only on what truly matters. Instead of building a complicated portfolio that requires constant attention, you design one that's simple, intentional, and powerful, one that compounds quietly in the background while you focus on living your life. Simplicity beats complexity every time. Most people assume that successful investing requires complexity, multiple accounts, dozens of asset classes, constant rebalancing, and non-stop monitoring. But history shows the opposite. The simplest investment strategies often outperform the most complicated ones. The world's greatest investors, from Warren Buffett to Jack Bogle, all preach the same principle: keep it simple, stay consistent, and think long-term. Complexity may feel impressive, but simplicity is what builds wealth. Here's why. Minimalist investing is about focusing on clarity and control, removing distractions, so your money can quietly build wealth in the background. Some are noise. They require attention, promise big returns, and often underdeliver. Others are the backbone of long-term wealth. Financial minimalism means ignoring the noise and focusing on these high-impact opportunities. They grow with the economy without requiring constant management. Retirement accounts. Maxing out tax advantage accounts like IRAs or 401ks is one of the most effective wealth-building strategies. They grow tax-free or tax-deferred and harness decades of compounding. Dividend-paying stocks or funds. Dividend income compounds on itself and can eventually become a passive income stream. It's a minimalist way to let your money generate more money over time. Real estate only if it fits your life. Property can be a powerful wealth tool, but it's not essential. If it aligns with your goals and you understand it well, it can diversify your income streams. If not, you're better off keeping things simple. You don't need dozens of investments to build wealth. You need a handful of reliable ones you understand deeply, and the discipline to hold them long enough to let compounding do its work. Too many individual stocks, overlapping ETFs, exotic crypto tokens. All of this creates noise, and noise kills focus. A minimalist portfolio, by contrast, is like a well-designed home. Everything has a purpose, nothing is wasted, and maintenance is simple. Here's how to declutter your investments. Consolidate accounts into one or two platforms. Automate contributions so investing happens without emotional interference. A minimalist portfolio isn't just easier to manage, it's easier to trust. And that trust helps you stay the course during market ups and downs, which is the real secret to long-term growth. Avoiding trend traps. One of the biggest dangers to your wealth is the constant temptation to chase the next big thing. Every week the financial world is full of new trends. Hot stocks, meme coins, startup opportunities, real estate boom. Most of them don't last, and most of them are distractions from your real goal: steady, reliable wealth building over time. Minimalists understand truth. If you're always chasing, you're never compounding. Compounding, the snowball effect of money making more money only works when you give it time. Constantly switching strategies resets the clock. It's like planting a tree and pulling it out every few months to see if it's growing. Instead, pick a strategy that's simple, evidence-based, and aligned with your risk tolerance, and then stick to it for years, not months. The power of enough in investing. In the world of money, one of the most dangerous words is more. More returns, more risk, more leverage, more complexity, but more often leads to burnout, stress, and bad decisions. Minimalist investors think differently. They define enough, the level of wealth that supports their goals, and design their investment strategy around that. They don't try to beat the market. They don't obsess over outperforming others. They aim for consistency, security, and freedom. Ask yourself, what annual return do I really need to reach my financial goals? How much risk am I truly comfortable taking? What does financial independence look like for me? When you know your answers, you stop chasing other people's versions of success and start building your own. It's not about when you start, it's about how long you stay invested. Even a modest portfolio, consistently invested in simple, low-cost funds over decades, will outperform most complex strategies. That's why financial minimalism prioritizes action over perfection. Don't wait for the perfect market or the right moment. Start now. Start small and stay consistent. Because in the end, wealth isn't built by doing 1,000 things. It's built by doing a few things, consistently, intelligently, and with purpose. The freedom equation: time, energy, and purpose. Money is not the ultimate goal, it's the tool that makes the ultimate goal possible. And that goal for most people isn't a bigger bank account. It's freedom. Freedom to choose how you spend your time. Freedom to focus your energy on what matters most. Freedom to live life according to your values rather than obligations. Financial minimalism is not about hoarding wealth or obsessing over every cent. It's about building a system where your money supports your life, not the other way around. Once you reach that point, you begin to understand the deeper purpose of financial mastery: to buy back your time and redirect your energy toward meaning. Redefining wealth beyond money. The traditional definition of wealth is purely financial: your income, assets, net worth. But that definition is incomplete. True wealth is measured by how much of your life you control. If you have millions but no free time, you're not wealthy. You're trapped in golden handcuffs. If you earn a high salary but dread every day, you're not free. You're just well paid. If you accumulate possessions but sacrifice peace of mind, you're not rich, you're burdened. Financial minimalism challenges you to redefine wealth beyond numbers. It asks, how much time do you own? How much energy is spent on things you love? How aligned is your life with your deepest purpose? Because in the end, money is only as valuable as what it allows you to do with your life. Reclaiming time through simplicity. Time is the most precious resource you have, and yet most people trade it away far too cheaply. They work long hours for income they don't need to buy things they don't value. They delay dreams for someday while their best years slip by. Financial minimalism reverses this equation. By simplifying your expenses, streamlining your investments, and aligning your money with your values, you reduce how much income you need to sustain your lifestyle. And when you need less, you buy back time. Imagine this. If you reduce your monthly expenses by 30%, you might be able to work 4 days a week instead of 5. If you invest intentionally and build passive income, you could take a sabbatical every year instead of every decade. If you focus on enough, you might retire at 45 instead of 65, or never retire at all because your work becomes a choice, not a necessity. The point is not to stop working, it's to stop needing to work just to survive. That's the heart of financial freedom. Energy is the currency of fulfillment. Even more important than time is energy, your ability to show up fully for the things that matter. Most people underestimate how much financial stress drains that energy. Worrying about bills, managing debt, chasing higher pay to keep up with expenses. Every ounce of mental bandwidth spent on money is an ounce stolen from creativity, relationships, and joy. Minimalism is powerful because it frees up energy. When your finances are simple and intentional, Money stops being a daily burden, your mental space clears, your emotional bandwidth expands. You stop making decisions out of fear or scarcity, and start making them from clarity and choice. This creates a ripple effect across your life. You have more focus to grow your career or business. You're more present with your family and relationship. You're more energized to pursue health, hobbies, and purpose-driven goals. Money is no longer the center of your life, it's the silent foundation beneath it. Aligning money with your deepest values. Most financial plans start with numbers. Minimalism starts with value, because if your money isn't serving your purpose, it's not serving you at all. Ask yourself, what do I want my life to stand for? Whatever your answers are, use them as a filter for financial decisions. If an expense, investment, or opportunity doesn't align with those values, let it go, no matter how profitable or popular it might seem. Every dollar you earn and spend is a vote for the future you're building. Make sure you're voting for the life you actually want. The liberation of enough. One of the most transformative moments in your financial journey is when you realize you have enough. Enough money to meet your needs, enough wealth to live with peace, enough flexibility to pursue your passions. That doesn't mean you stop growing or achieving. It means you stop chasing. You stop measuring success by how much more you can accumulate and start measuring it by how deeply you can live. Enough liberates you from the endless treadmill of comparison. It allows you to shift your focus from acquisition to contribution, from building wealth for its own sake, to using wealth as a force for good in your life and the lives of others. The freedom equation: less, half, purpose, is more. Financial minimalism is not about living small, it's about living deliberately. It's the art of subtracting what doesn't matter so you can multiply what does. And when you apply that principle to your money, a powerful equation emerges. Less financial clutter gives you more time, less consumer pressure gives you more energy, less chasing more gives you more purpose. The paradox of minimalism is that by choosing less, you unlock more. More freedom, more control, more life. A life that money can't buy. Ultimately, the goal of financial minimalism is not to escape money, it's to master it so completely that it stops controlling you. When your finances are aligned with your values, when your time and energy belong to you, and when your purpose drives every decision, you discover something rare and extraordinary, a life money can't buy, but one that money wisely managed can enable. That is the art of financial freedom, and that is the deeper purpose behind every dollar you earn, save, invest, and spend. The freedom equation: time, energy, and purpose. At its core, financial minimalism is not about money, it's about freedom. It's about reclaiming control over your most valuable, irreplaceable resources: your time, your energy, and your purpose. When you strip away the noise, stop chasing endless consumption, and align your financial life with what truly matters, you create space. Space to think, to live, to grow, and to thrive. This is the deeper promise of minimalism: a life where money serves you, not the other way around. Time, the real currency of wealth. Money is a tool. Time is the true currency. You can always make more money, but you can never make more time. Yet most people unknowingly trade their time away for things they don't even value, working longer hours to pay for a lifestyle that doesn't fulfill them, or sacrificing years of their lives to chase arbitrary financial milestones. Financial minimalism flips this equation. By deliberately simplifying your spending and focusing on essentials, you free up time that was previously spent maintaining, managing, or earning for unnecessary things. For example, choosing a smaller home not only reduces mortgage costs, it also means fewer hours cleaning, repairing, and furnishing it. Selling your second car might cut your commute time and free up weekends you used to spend on maintenance. Ask yourself, how much of my time is currently tied to money I don't need to spend? This question alone can be transformative, because once you start valuing time more than status, you begin designing a life that's richer in experiences, relationships, and peace of mind, not just in dollars. Energy, your most underestimated asset. Every financial choice you make requires mental and emotional energy. Juggling multiple subscriptions, tracking dozens of bills, managing debt, and worrying about fluctuating expenses all of it consumes cognitive bandwidth. Most people don't realize how much mental energy is wasted on financial clutter until they clear it away. Financial minimalism lightens that load. With fewer accounts to monitor, fewer decisions to make, and fewer expenses to track, your mind becomes clearer and more focused. That energy can now be redirected toward creativity, health, relationships, or building something meaningful. Consider the difference between a cluttered home and a minimalist space. The latter feels calmer, more intentional, more productive. The same is true for your finances. When your money system is simplified, automated, intentional, and aligned, you stop reacting and start leading. Your energy is no longer drained by financial chaos. Instead, it fuels your growth and your goals. Purpose. Aligning money with what truly matters. At the highest level, financial minimalism is about purpose, making sure your money is a reflection of your deepest values, not someone else's expectation. When you stop spending on things that don't matter, you naturally have more resources to direct toward what does. This could mean funding experiences over possessions, supporting causes you care about, or investing in projects that align with your mission. It could mean designing a lifestyle that prioritizes family, creativity, travel, or entrepreneurship, whatever gives your life meaning. Most people let money dictate their choices. Minimalists reverse that dynamic. They use money as a tool to amplify what matters, not to define their worth. This shift is liberating because it moves you from a life of endless consumption to a life of conscious creation. It's not about how much money you make, it's about how much control you have over your time, how much energy you can invest in meaningful pursuits, and how deeply your financial decisions reflect your purpose. Here's a simple framework to help you design a freedom-centered financial life. Time audit. List where your time goes each week, and identify where financial decisions are costing you hours. Then simplify or eliminate those costs. Energy audit. Notice which money-related tasks drain your mental bandwidth. Automate or consolidate them. Purpose alignment. Write down your top 3 values and evaluate every major expense and goal through that lens. If something doesn't serve those values, question why you're doing it. This process isn't about deprivation, it's about optimization. It's about designing a financial life that maximizes what matters most, not just wealth for its own sake. The minimalist advantage. When you master this freedom equation, the benefits compound. Less financial pressure means more flexibility. More time means deeper relationships and richer experiences. More mental energy means greater creativity and resilience. And aligning money with purpose gives every dollar and every day deeper meaning. This is what financial minimalism is truly about. It's not about having less, it's about making space for more. More joy, more growth, more purpose. And once you've tasted that freedom, you'll never want to go back to the cluttered, stressful, overcomplicated version of life you left behind. Because in the end, the art of minimalism isn't about money, it's about building a life you don't need to escape from. Your minimalist money map. Next steps. By now you understand that financial minimalism isn't just about spending less, it's about living more. It's a complete transformation of how you think about, manage, and use money. But knowledge alone doesn't change lives. Action does. This final shift is where your understanding becomes reality, where theory becomes a lifestyle. And the key is to start simple, stay consistent, and build momentum over time. This chapter is your roadmap, a practical step-by-step guide to putting financial minimalism into motion. Think of it as a map out of financial chaos and into clarity, freedom, and purpose. Step 1. Define what enough means to you. Minimalism is deeply personal. What's essential for one person might be optional for another. That's why your first task is to define your version of enough. Ask yourself, how much income do I truly need to support a fulfilling life? Which expenses bring me real happiness, and which are just habits? What would financial freedom look like on my terms? Write your answers down. Be honest, not aspirational. This becomes your North Star, the standard by which all future financial decisions will be measured. Once you're clear on what enough means, you'll stop chasing more for the sake of more. Step 2. Conduct a financial declutter. Just like a minimalist clears their home of clutter, You must clear your finances. Most people are shocked when they see how much financial junk they've accumulated. Unused subscriptions, forgotten accounts, wasteful habits, and expenses that serve no purpose. Do a full audit of subscriptions and memberships. Cancel what you don't use. Every financial decision should have a clear purpose. If it doesn't, it's clutter. Step 3. Automate the essentials. Minimalism thrives on simplicity, and automation is one of the most powerful ways to achieve it. Automate your savings, investments, and bill payments. Set up automatic transfers into emergency funds, retirement accounts, and investment portfolios. Automation accomplishes two things. It removes dozens of small decisions from your life, freeing up mental energy for what truly matters. The fewer financial tasks you manually manage, the more space you create for growth, creativity, and peace of mind. Step 4. Build a purpose budget. A minimalist budget isn't about restriction, it's about intention. Instead of tracking every penny, organize your spending into 3 simple categories: freedom funds, investments, savings, and debt payments, the fuel for future independence. Joyful spending, purposeful spending on experiences, learning, or hobbies that align with your values. This approach reframes budgeting as a tool for empowerment, not punishment. It's not about saying no, it's about saying yes to what truly matters. Step 5. Streamline your investments. Many people treat investing like a game, chasing trends, timing markets, and constantly tweaking their portfolio. But minimalists invest differently. They focus on clarity and impact. Here's how. They consolidate accounts and platforms, choose low-cost index funds or ETFs over complex products, set clear investment goals and time horizons, automate contributions, and resist the urge to tinker. Remember, simplicity is strength. The fewer decisions you have to make, the more consistent and successful your investing will become. As you simplify your financial life, reinvest the time you free up into activities that matter: deep work, meaningful relationships, health, creativity, or personal growth. Revisit the freedom equation regularly and ask yourself, am I spending my time intentionally? Do my financial decisions give me more energy or drain it? Is my money aligned with my purpose? If the answer is no, adjust. Minimalism is not a one-time project. It's a lifelong practice of refinement and realignment. Step 7. Commit to continuous simplification. Financial minimalism is not a finish line. It's an ongoing process. Life changes, priorities shift, goals evolve. That's why your minimalist system should remain flexible and adaptable. Once a quarter, do a financial reset. Review spending and investments. Reassess goals and priorities. Simplify or eliminate anything that no longer serves your purpose. Over time, this habit compounds. Each reset strips away more clutter and brings your financial life into sharper alignment with who you are and what you want. Your challenge: start small. Start today. The most powerful transformations begin with small, consistent action. You don't need to overhaul everything overnight. You just need to take the first step. That might mean canceling one subscription today, automating one savings goal tomorrow, or redefining your version of enough this week. Momentum is your greatest ally. Once you feel the freedom of a simpler financial life, you'll naturally want to keep going. A life designed with purpose. Financial minimalism is ultimately about designing a life you love, a life where money supports your values, amplifies your purpose, and expands your freedom. It's about creating a system so simple and intentional that you can stop thinking about money and start living. And that's the greatest wealth of all: the ability to wake up every day knowing your time, your energy, and your purpose are fully your own. The long-term vision: a life of sustained financial freedom and purpose. Most people chase money without ever stopping to ask why. They work harder, spend more, and accumulate endlessly, only to feel just as stressed, uncertain, and dissatisfied as before. Financial minimalism exists to break that cycle, not just to simplify your finances in the short term, but to completely rewire your relationship with money for the rest of your life. This is the part where everything comes together. It's not about cutting back, budgeting better, or even investing smarter. Those are just tools. The real goal is to create a life where money is no longer the center of every decision. Instead, it becomes the quiet engine that powers your purpose, your freedom, and your peace. Rethinking wealth beyond numbers and net worth. One of the most profound shifts that happens when you adopt a minimalist approach to money is that wealth stops being about how much you have and starts being about how much you need. Traditional finance culture glorifies accumulation, more money, bigger portfolios, larger houses, but financial minimalism flips that idea upside down. True wealth isn't measured by the size of your bank account, it's measured by the gap between what you have and what you need. When your needs are few and your systems are strong, you gain control. Your savings last longer, your investments go further, and your peace of mind is no longer tied to market swings or career promotions. This is the foundation of lasting freedom, not limitless wealth, but limitless independence. Building a life around time, not money. The ultimate reason to pursue financial minimalism is not just to become good with money, it's to win back the most valuable currency of all time. Ask yourself this question: if money were no object, how would I spend my days? The answer to that question is your blueprint for purpose. Every financial choice you make from here on should move you closer to that reality. It might mean working fewer hours, so you can spend more time with family. It might mean saving aggressively to launch a business or travel the world. It might even mean downsizing your home to free up cash flow and mental space. The point is, money should serve your vision, not the other way around. Once you design your life around time, everything else begins to fall into place. The power of alignment. Money as a tool for meaning. Money is a multiplier. It amplifies whatever values you already hold. If your life is chaotic, money will magnify that chaos. If your life is intentional, money will magnify that purpose. Financial minimalism invites you to clarify those values before you scale them. What truly matters to you? Growth, family, contribution, adventure, creativity. Once you know the answer, you can align your spending, saving, and investing decisions accordingly. That's when every dollar starts working with you, not against you. And that's when wealth stops being a burden and becomes a vehicle for a meaningful life. Anti-fragile finances, designing for the unexpected. Minimalism isn't just about simplicity, it's also about resilience. A minimalist financial system is lean, adaptable, and built to withstand volatility. It's not dependent on a single source of income or a fragile investment strategy. To make your financial life anti-fragile, keep your expenses well below your earnings, creating margin for emergencies. Prioritize liquidity, build an emergency fund, and keep a portion of your wealth easily accessible. Focus on long-term, low-maintenance investments that compound quietly over time. The result is peace. You stop fearing economic downturns, unexpected bills, or sudden changes, because you've built a system that bends without breaking. Growth without greed. The minimalist wealth mindset. There's a subtle but powerful difference between growth and greed. Growth is about expanding your opportunities, deepening your impact, and strength is about chasing more for the sake of more, often at the expense of your happiness and health. Financial minimalism champions growth without falling into the trap of endless accumulation. It's the mindset of enough, and then some. You build wealth to enhance your life, not consume it. You invest to create options, not obligations. You scale your income to expand your freedom, not your lifestyle inflation. Sustained freedom through intentional living. The final stage of financial minimalism is when money becomes background noise, a quiet, stable force supporting the life you've intentionally designed. Your days are no longer dictated by bills, bosses, or burnout. Instead, they're shaped by curiosity, purpose, creativity, and contribution. Here's what that life looks like. You wake up without anxiety about money. Your expenses are simple, predictable, and deeply aligned with your value. Your income is diversified, resilient, and mostly automated. Your investments quietly grow without constant tinkering. And most importantly, you have the freedom to choose how you spend your time. This is the essence of financial minimalism, a life where less really does become more. Less clutter, more clarity. Less chasing, more contentment. Less fear, more freedom. The journey never ends. Financial minimalism isn't a destination. It's a lifelong philosophy, a way of moving through the world with clarity, discipline, and purpose. There will always be new challenges, opportunities, and choices, but with this mindset, you'll approach them not from a place of scarcity or confusion, but from a place of strength and intention. You're no longer playing the game of more, you're playing the game of enough. And in that game, you've already won. When money stops being your master and becomes your ally, you don't just improve your finances, you transform your entire life. And that's the art of financial minimalism. Living the minimalist money lifestyle, daily habits that compound freedom. Financial minimalism isn't a one-time project or a short-term challenge. It's a lifestyle. It's a quiet, deliberate way of approaching money that becomes second nature over time. And like all meaningful change, the secret isn't found in dramatic decisions or complex strategies. It's hidden in small, consistent habits that compound into massive transformation. This part is about bringing everything you've learned into the rhythm of everyday life. It's about building simple, repeatable practices that keep your money aligned with your values, your priorities, and your purpose, day after day, year after year. Habit 1. Track value, not just spending. Most people track expenses in categories: groceries, utilities, entertainment, etc. That's a useful start, but minimalists go deeper. They don't just ask, what did I spend? They ask, what did I get in return? This is called value tracking, and it's one of the most powerful habits you can build. After every major purchase, reflect on its long-term impact. Did this bring me joy or solve a real problem? Will I still value this in a year? Did it move me closer to or further from my goals? Over time, this awareness rewires your spending pattern. You naturally stop wasting money on things that don't matter and redirect those resources toward what truly enriches your life. Habit 2. Schedule regular financial reviews. Minimalism thrives on clarity, and clarity requires regular check-in. Just like you might declutter your home seasonally, you should declutter your finances periodically. Set aside time once a month or quarter to review, to simplify or automate further. These reviews aren't about micromanagement, they're about staying intentional. They help you catch small inefficiencies before they grow and keep your financial system lean, efficient, and aligned with your evolving priority. Habit 3. Embrace the one-in, one-out rule. A key principle of minimalism in any area, including money, is balance. The one-in, one-out rule is simple. Whenever you introduce a new expense, subscription, or investment, you eliminate another one. This practice prevents clutter from creeping back into your financial life. It forces you to evaluate every new decision against the value it brings. If you want to add something new, something old must no longer serve you. It's a habit that keeps growth intentional and ensures that your financial life never becomes bloated or chaotic again. Automate savings transfers, investment contributions, bill payments, and even charitable giving. Automation removes friction, reduces decision fatigue, and keeps your financial momentum going, even on days when you're busy, distracted, or unmotivated. Most importantly, it ensures that your priorities happen first, not last. You pay yourself before you pay anyone else. You invest before you spend. You grow wealth by default, not by chance. Habit 5. Normalize saying no. One of the hardest but most liberating habits of financial minimalism is learning to say no. No to lifestyle inflation. No to unnecessary upgrades. No to pressure from peers or society. No to every financial choice that doesn't move you closer to freedom. This doesn't mean living in deprivation. It means living with intention. Every no is really a yes to something bigger. More control, more savings, more time, more peace. The minimalist lifestyle isn't about limiting yourself. It's about refusing to let distractions steer your future. Habit 6. Practice the pause. Impulse spending is the enemy of minimalism. That's why minimalists master the habit of pausing before every non-essential purchase. When you feel the urge to buy something, pause for 24-48 hours. During that time, ask yourself, will this bring lasting value to my life? Am I buying this out of emotion, boredom, or pressure? More often than not, the desire fades, and you keep the money. And if it doesn't fade, it's probably something that truly adds value. Habit 7. Reinvest in yourself. The best use of money is not always in the stock market or a savings account. Often it's in you. Minimalists prioritize reinvesting in knowledge, skills, and habits that multiply their earning potential and improve their quality of life. Set aside a small portion of your budget for books, courses, coaching, health, or tools that make you more capable and more valuable. This habit compounds like any investment, but its returns are often far greater than anything the market can offer. Habit 8. Anchor decisions to your why. Every financial choice becomes simpler when it's anchored to your purpose. Your why, the deeper reason behind your financial goals, acts as a filter for decisions. If a purchase, investment, or lifestyle choice aligns with your why, it's probably worth it. If it doesn't, it's probably a distraction. This mindset turns money into a tool for building the life you want, not a source of confusion or temptation. It ensures that every dollar you spend is a vote for the future you're trying to create. Habit 9. Celebrate progress, not perfection. Finally, remember this: financial minimalism isn't about being perfect. It's about getting better, steadily, intentionally, and sustainably. You will make mistakes. You will overspend. You might even slip back into old habits now and then. That's okay. What matters is progress. Celebrate small wins: a subscription cancelled, a month of automated savings, a simplified portfolio. Each step reinforces your new identity, someone who is in control, intentional, and building a lifestyle that lasts. The habits above might seem small on their own, but together they're transformative. They create momentum, resilience, and clarity. They help you maintain the minimalist lifestyle you've built, and more importantly, they allow it to evolve with you. When practiced consistently, these habits do more than just simplify your finances. They shape who you are. They build discipline, confidence, and freedom. They help you live every day with purpose and peace. And in the end, that's what financial minimalism is all about. Not just changing your bank account, but changing your life. The new definition of wealth and freedom. If there's one truth that echoes through every chapter of this journey, it's this: retirement, the way society sells it, is a trap. It's a comforting illusion designed to keep you working just hard enough to never question the system. But real wealth and real freedom were never meant to be delayed until you're 65. They're meant to be built, lived, and enjoyed now. Wealth isn't about hoarding money and counting the days until you can finally stop working. It's about designing a life where work is an expression of your purpose, not a punishment. It's about having the freedom to choose how you spend your time, where you direct your energy, and who you give your attention to. That is the real retirement, one that doesn't begin at the end of your life, but fuels every single day of it. Your time is the real currency. Money is powerful, but it's not the most valuable asset you own. Time. And yet most people trade the majority of their time for money, just to one day have enough money to buy back their time. That cycle is insanity. The wealthy understand something different. They use money as a tool to free up time, not consume it. They build income streams that work for them. They invest in skills, businesses, and assets that generate wealth without requiring every waking hour. Most importantly, they design lifestyles that allow them to own their days long before society says they're allowed to stop working. If you want to escape the retirement trap, start by redefining wealth. Ask yourself, how much of my time do I control? Because the more time you own, the richer you truly are. The purpose-driven life. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Many people are counting down the years to retirement because they hate the work they do. They believe life will begin once the work stops. But that mindset is a prison. Purpose-driven people don't dream of retiring. They dream of expanding. They build lives so meaningful that they never want to stop contributing. They view their careers, businesses, and missions as evolving chapters, not obligations with an expiration date. The goal is not to escape work but to align your work with your deepest values. When what you do matters, when it lights you up and contributes to the world, you'll never fantasize about quitting. That's why the wealthiest and most fulfilled people on the planet often work harder in their 70s than they did in their 30s. Not because they have to, but because they want to. You spend your day working on projects you love, with people you respect, in a way that feels meaningful. You have more than enough money to support your lifestyle, but you keep creating, building, and contributing because it brings you joy. That is the real dream, and you don't need to wait decades to live it. Designing a life you don't need to escape from starts with intentional decisions. Set boundaries that protect your time and energy. Create a vision for your ideal life and reverse engineer it now. Stop living on autopilot. Stop accepting the default path. Your life is too short to be spent counting the days to freedom. Choose to live free today. The end of the retirement myth. For decades, society has sold you the fantasy that happiness lives on the other side of a retirement age. But the truth is, waiting to live is the most expensive mistake you can make. Life is not meant to be postponed. It's meant to be designed, experienced, and enjoyed now. The retirement myth dies the moment you decide that freedom is not something to be waited for, it's something to be built. The moment you stop chasing the illusion of one day and start building a lifestyle of wealth, purpose, and choice today, you break free from the system that wants you to stay compliant, tired, and waiting. This is your moment to choose differently, to rewrite the script, to stop living for later and start living for now. Your legacy starts now. The legacy you leave won't be defined by the number in your retirement account. It will be defined by how many lives you impact, how much time you controlled, and how boldly you lived. Don't aim to retire. Aim to matter. Aim to build wealth that outlives you, work that fulfills you, and a life you never want to pause. That's the real goal. That's true financial freedom, and that's what it means to escape the greatest scam of all, the belief that you have to wait to start living. Remember, the best time to build the life you want was yesterday. The second best time is today. Choose to start now, because your future self is already watching, waiting, and thanking you for it.